I found another big problem with my bike, something I was misdirected at. I thought by using 102, 103 octane fuel was causing my carb to have problems, because I was leaking fuel out of the back of the air horn that was on the carb, but it wasn't that. This is where you got to listen to your engine. And actually the problem is far worse than I thought it was, but in a way I'm glad I found it. But in another way I'm pissed off that I made a huge mistake. This is the Boyce & Reed that I took out that I've been using. And I noticed that if you look, you can remember, if you can see any light at all, it means it's not sealing. So yes, there is some light in there, and I looked at that and go, aha, that's the problem. That's got to be the problem. That's going to work great. Then I noticed something that really caught my eye, is that the little stays that are supposed to be on here, like that, aren't there anymore. The base is there, right here. That's the base. Oh, and on the other side, yeah, the base is there. But they don't have, these are little spring tensioners. And what they do is they hold the top of the reed tight, where these are not tight. So it tells me a couple things. My reed valves were leaking, and that's why the bike didn't idle well. That's why the bike didn't accelerate well. That's why I always felt there was something off. But I thought it was a carburetor problem. But it was this problem. The other problem, which I hate to say, which was a colossal fuck up, is that those reed stays, or these two little pieces, well, they didn't just magically disappear. They didn't just magically jump off that reed valve and take vacation. Nope. Both sides got sucked into the motor. That's why when I took off the other cylinder, I could tell that something was wrong, but I thought that that was an aluminum problem with the block. No, it's these. Now, how did this problem happen? Well, these reed cages, this is the same type of reed cage. It has stock pedals in it, or pedals like this right here. I have to do this against a white background because otherwise you won't see it. That's very important about, if you're going to be showing things, always have a contrast. Have a contrast, show what you want to show, but don't have a lot of bullshit in the background or off to one side or off to the other side, which is going to screw up the viewer. The worst thing you can do when you're doing this is go like this. Now you can see how see the reed cage, see how that works? Isn't that nice? Because the viewer is trying to turn their eyeballs this way to see the whole thing. But they can't, because this is their point of view. So I have to use that as eyeballs. Anyway, so that's a screw up. What we usually have is the reeds will go on to the reed block. Then what we have is the springs will go on like that. And then we have the, of course they fell out. This is what's called the reed valve limiter. Okay, it's the same with this one, same with a lot of them. And what that does is it keeps the reed right here. I'll do it to one side. What it does is it keeps the reed from opening too far and then coming too far back. Now the mistake that I made, and of course this is an experiment, so I didn't think this would happen. But what had happened here is these Boyson pedals opened so far right here, and what they did was they bent these too far back. Okay, too far back like that. Now what happens when that happens is metal fatigue sets in right down here on these edges. I don't know if you've ever had a piece of metal or something you're trying to break off and you keep bending it over and over again. What happens is the metal stretches in that one little spot. Stretches, it gets hot, it gets brittle, it snaps. So what I know now is that I should, if I want to rebuild this, I'm not going to rebuild it just yet, I'm going to try something else, is to use everything the reed came with, the reed valve, which is the stay right here, the springs that hold the reeds in, and the reeds. Now another thing, somebody said, oh, well, why don't you get that CT black, that black manifold? And I was looking at my junk, going, oh man, that looks like a black manifold, doesn't it? Okay, we're going to do a little comparison here between the CT black manifold, which I haven't used, and the CT silver manifold. Okay? First thing I can tell you, let me switch over